Hello, well, now this is Wolfstar Games, and welcome back to more Robotics Notes Elite. Last time, since Airi is still bugged, last time Kaito felt he needed to get help from his friends to determine where the next Kimijima Report is. And surprisingly, Juna is the one who gave us the information we needed. It's like, look at it as if you're going around Tanegashima sightseeing. I'm surprised I didn't think of that myself. But, it's all par for the course here. Before we actually get back into the game here, I wanted to touch on something that happened last time. Last time, Airi said, not just in front of Kaito, but also Juna and Frau, that she had an incurable illness. And I'm like, well, put two and two together. An AI can't contract an incurable illness. A real person would be able to, though. And I'm like, put two and two together. So of course I had to get my words handed right back to me. Thank you, Sergey. But it's all good. It made me think a lot more of what is going on with Airi. So, if Airi had an incurable disease or illness, however you want to put it, she has to be real then. It's like she must not be an AI. So then that begs the question, if Airi is real, what does that mean for everything that has been going on within IRUO, and how IRUO functions and how Airi functions within that space? So I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, at first I was like, how did Airi get in IRUO if she's a real person? But then I'm like, wait. If IRUO is like a viewfinder for, like Kaito or whoever is using it, what if IRUO is like a simulation for Airi? That would, like, explain why she could seemingly pop in from nowhere, and the fact from a couple of videos ago now of when she phased through the wall at school, that would explain that. But in terms of like the times when Airi has said that she can't see Kaito when he's in a building, that I'm still not sure of. If she's real, how is it that she can't see Kaito in a building? That's the only thing that's a little iffy for me, that I don't quite understand. So with thinking about IRUO this way, I'm like, okay, so what does that mean with the update, the maintenance update that's supposed to happen? Since Airi should be real, she shouldn't be deleted, right? So when the Frau talked to Happiness for You and found out that the AI program that's in there would be deleted, the AI program in there has to be Gijene. Gijene is who's going to disappear. I mean, that's the conclusions I've come to. So I don't know, it really got my brain a-thinking with what is going on with Airi. I mean, if IRUO is bugged, exactly how is that affecting Airi if she's real? So yeah, now, thanks to Sergey, thank you, I am now thinking that Airi is indeed real. A real person who just happens to utilize the space of IRUO somehow. Whether IRUO is a simulation or otherwise. I mean, that would say a lot to Kimijima, since he created IRUO. He's considered a genius, right? So for him to come up with something to where a real person can utilize the space within IRUO, I mean, that's a huge technological advancement, I feel. So, I mean, good on Kimijima for creating something so advanced, if that is the case. So, anyway, that's where I stand with everything now. My mind did a complete 180 on Airi. It's like, this whole time I've been saying that she has to be modeled after a real person, but no, she has to be real now. Oh, there is one thing that I forgot about that kind of clued me into Airi being like modeled after someone real in the first place. When I went to actually look up the voice actors for the game, when I came around to Airi, I did find out that she's credited with having a last name, which I found a little odd, seeing that this whole time you're led to believe that she's an AI. It's like, why would an AI have a last name? So that's the reason why I concluded that she had to be modeled after someone real. But no, this entire time I've been thinking kind of the opposite. I mean, that definitely makes things a little more interesting with Airi, with her being real. So it really makes me wonder how things are going to go with the maintenance update for IRUO, of what's exactly going to happen. But anyway, we'll finally get back into the game here. Alright, before we actually do move on here, I am supposed to reply to a Tweepo message here. So I think it's this one from Frau. Let me see here. It is, yes. Current attendance for day 1 is about 300k. 3 years ago, the sacred place was expanded and it became chaotic. About 30% travel from overseas. TBH, the people from the countryside have intense eyes. They do? How did you live through that battlefield? Easily 10 times the population of Tanegashima. Or, I got the chills just imagining it. In a bad way. In a bad way? Okay. Let's see, which one am I supposed to respond with here? Okay, it is actually the first one here. How did you live through that battlefield? Alright. Now we can move on here. The next day. Today's a holiday, so we've got the day off. I set out bright and early in the morning. Yesterday was a busy one. I checked the Cosmo Resort and the Masada Tracking and Communication Center for the AR annotation, but no luck. I mean, but he determined that those would be the only two in that area for the annotation, right? So, where else could it be? I have until midnight. Midnight, okay. What time is it now? Because it's possible that Airi disappears when the date changes. That's my deadline. Right. If I don't somehow find report number 6 before then, I'm screwed. And worst case scenario, I'll have to give up on report number 7 completely. Oh boy. To only get like this close to collecting all of the reports and to have him think that he won't be able to get the last report. That's like I mean, I'm doing a game comparison here, but that would be like coming so close to having all the collectibles almost in one run and not being able to find the last one. That's, to me, that would be a little not so much infuriating, but more like I'd be like, ah, oh, darn it, I missed the last one. How did I miss it? That's how I would feel if I was looking for these reports.
今日の天気予報は晴れでしょう。降水確率は 0% です。寒いのであったかくして出かけましょう。
Yeah, okay, Airi, I will. Airi faces the wrong direction even though she's seemingly talking to me. That's okay. It's like at least I think so. Yesterday, no, not just yesterday. Lately, I've stopped trying to think about Airi's words and actions. Don't do that. I mean, I feel like there's so many clues going on with Airi right now that he needs all these little pieces of kind of nonsense in a way, because it doesn't make any sense to him, so it would be like she's spouting nonsense to him. But taking those bits of nonsense and trying to piece things together with what is going on with Airi. So I'm honestly surprised Kaito isn't figuring it out faster. If Airi somehow survives past tomorrow, I'll handle it. You will? But it's probably just a bug. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself. Even if I stick my neck into all of this, I won't be able to get answers within the day. The Kimijima Report takes priority right now. Yeah. I've narrowed the search down to 5 locations. I should do the rounds. 5, okay. So he's determined 3 more locations other than the Cosmo Resort and the Communications Center. Okay, so we have what here? Hase Park, Hamada Beach, Old Tanegashima Airport, Nagahama Coast, Otatsu Matatsu. Otatsu Matatsu. That's kind of like rhyming in a way. Otatsu Matatsu Rocks. Never been there before. Anywhere else? Nope. Okay. So since we haven't been here, I actually want to go here first to see if there's any geotags. This is Otatsu Matatsu Rocks. A nice looking place. Could the Kimijima Report be here? Kind of doubt it, but it doesn't hurt to look. And there is a geotag. Danger! Do not climb. Yeah, that doesn't look very safe to climb, does it? Looks like there's a rope bridge there. Yeah, it kind of looks like a rope bridge anyway. Oh my god. Did I seriously find it so fast? Oh my god. First place I go to, and the one place we've never been. Wow.
Kimijima Report number 6をダウンロードしました。
I breathe a sigh of relief. I managed to get it in time. There happens to be a rest bench in front of me, so I sit down and take a look at the report. Oh boy, I wonder what this one is going to entail, seeing that there's just one right after this one. Okay, the idea of promoting false images like they're real using media has become outdated. In the 21st century, propaganda cements an idea by extending imagination to reality. It's a very interesting thought is going on here, it seems. Slowly but surely, they will destroy our ability to recognize reality. Ooh. That's actually possible? They can destroy our own ability to recognize reality. I mean, I guess actually that makes sense with the brainwashing. I mean, our reality is warped and twisted, and just changed like ever so much to make reality different for the one who's brainwashed. So, that makes a lot of sense. Thinking about it in that way. The Committee of 300 call it the weapon of silence. Very interesting name. Weapon of Silence. That has an interesting connotation there. In less than 20 years, the tanks and missiles... In less than 20 years, the tanks and missiles style of warfare will come to an end. Huh. They'll become outdated. Just like the idea of promoting false images, like they're real using media has become outdated. So just like that. Huh, very interesting. Huh. Nukes will be antiques. Wars will start somewhere no one notices. A one-sided massacre will happen without getting noticed, and it will end without anyone finding out. So it'll be more internal. Like a war of the minds, in a way. I mean, that's kind of how I'm reading it, anyway. Like it's dealing with telepathy or anything that has to do with the mind. Telepathy, brainwashing, and anything else really that you can do with the mind or brain or whatever. It will quietly infest each person's heart, corrupt it, violate it, and eventually kill it. Ooh. That's heavy. Jeez. That is the way of the Weapon of Silence. Wow. It directly controls a person more than their own will. More than their own will, really. It is far beyond the level of propaganda and can easily take away a person's dignity. I feel like it's more than just taking away a person's dignity. I feel like it's completely like stripping away their dignity. Like stripping like they're stripping away each person's like individuality. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that. It is scientifically possible to show an imaginary thing that doesn't exist to the human eye. Really, it's scientifically possible to show something imaginary, something that doesn't exist to the human eye. That I feel like that's kind of like an oxymoron in a way. I mean, science is able to show something like that to the human eye. Victor Condoria University. Name slightly changed here. I'm familiar with this name in Steins Gate Zero. Though in Steins Gate Zero, it's Victor Condria, not Condoria. Victor Condoria University already has created a technology called VR, Visual Rebuilding, and has gotten officially approved as proprietary technology. A human brain structures its will from a neural pulse, an electric signal. Right, yeah. Therefore, if you send an artificial neural pulse from the nervous optics to the brain, you can expand imagination into reality. Yeah, I'm just taking that in. Okay, that... Wait. Is this going into the direction I'm thinking? I mean, if I think back on Steins Gate Zero, maybe this technology that they're talking about is an AI. And who do we know is a AI? Supposedly, Airi. But more so, Gijene. This technology is an evolved version of AR and can drastically change the level of everyday life if used in a peaceful way. Of course, such a hope is already gone. The research is already at the point where you are able to control a large amount of people's will by showing a hallucination through VR technology. A hallucination through VR technology. That's like taking a hallucination to the next level. Having it be through VR? That's kind of crazy. And of course, it is no other than the Tavistock Institute pushing it. Of course. It's like... because hallucinations and brainwashing is the Tavistock Institute's bread and butter. It is the Committee of 300's Human Ranch Project number 86, Project Noah. That name again. This Project Noah, I have come to find out, is referencing a Chaos Head. So, that's one game I have not played. So, I don't know what the reference here is. I guess I'll eventually find out what Project Noah is alluding to whenever the double pack of Chaos Head, Noah, and Chaos Child ever comes to the West here, because I did find out a while back now that a double pack is being released in Japan, and I pray to God that eventually it comes to the West here. Nozomi Technology, after getting technological help from Tavistock, executed an indiscriminate experiment in Shibuya, Tokyo. What kind of experiment was it? That's not all. It's common knowledge that artificial earthquakes are made in that city. And we learned about artificial earthquakes in another report. So now we're gonna learn more about that here. There isn't a single person that questions the obviously unusual earthquakes. Right. Have you ever thought it was unusual? If you haven't, you are also getting your thoughts controlled by Tavistock. Interesting. A group of people who lost their identity. A strong electromagnetic weapon that can cause earthquakes and solar disturbances occurring during the extreme solar activity season. Oh. So when the solar disturbance hit Tokyo more recently, a bunch of people lost their identity? Oh wow. That's a little unnerving, isn't it? When all the situations line up, they'll ring the bell to end the world. Ding-a-ling-ling, right? Project Adam will be executed. The few that are in power will completely massacre the innocent and make some of them livestock. Ugh. I don't like how this is coming across here. Make some of them livestock? That just makes it sound like they're gonna butcher millions of people. The chances will come 3 times in 2015, 2019, and 2020. Be aware, though it may be too late. Oh, there's a date here. March 29th, 2010. Why is there a date all of a sudden in this report? I mean, he hasn't been dating his reports. Why does this one have a specific date? I thank you for reading up to here. You who are reading this private message must either be very patient, super curious, or have a great heart for justice. And I'd say that describes Kaito pretty thoroughly, if you ask me. But be careful. If they find out you're reading this, you may be in danger, too. That's what I've been worried about this entire time. And not to mention, Misane warned him. She told him not to continue digging. And now that he's up to report number 6, what is going to happen if he is found out? The reports were written secretly, hidden from the assassins of the Committee of 300. Of course the Committee of 300 would have assassins. That honestly doesn't surprise me all that much. When you are reading this, I am mostly likely... Interesting grammar there. I am mostly likely gone from the world. But are you really? Are you... Wait. If he's gone from this world, is he in another world? And I don't mean like the... And I don't mean like the world like of heaven or anything, but more like, is he in like another world separate from our own, if that is possible? I mean, sometimes you never know. I mean, there could be another dimension. But this fearful plan must be stopped. Given that, I have a favor to ask. If you believe in me, I want you to find the 7th report. If we're going to be able to. The 7th report itself is a key. A key, okay? What kind of key? And when it gets released, it is set to spread the other 6 reports through IRUO to people all over the world. Really? That's very interesting. So, once we get the 7th report, all the reports will be sent to everyone who has a phone droid to, I guess, warn them of what's coming. Very interesting. What is Kimijima's plan exactly here, then? And yes, of course you will not be traced. I mean, it's one thing to say that, but I feel like I would want proof that I will not be traced. Currently, in 2010, when I'm writing this report, IRUO is still a prototype. Right, yeah, because at that point in time, he had just created it. I am asking this hoping that in 5 years, or even 9 to 10 years, people all over the world will be using it. And people do now. A lot. Right? I mean, it's not just Kaito who's using it. I will think positively that if you read this report, then my predictions were right. This is counter-propaganda, flipping over Tavistock. Counter-propaganda? Is that actually a thing? I've never heard of that term. In this high-speed information society, information gets spread instantly. Yes, very much so. Once spread, it cannot be stopped. Unless you hide a tree in the forest, like Tavistock. We've gotten that phrase before. So, unless you hide a tree in the forest, so there's something more here then. Something else is hidden, right? Now, make a decision. I leave everything to you. That's a major thing to have on someone's shoulders. If you believe that these conclusions are true, get the 7th report. If you do not, dispose of it. Dispose of it, really. I pray there will be someone that reads up to here. And that someone is Kaito. I appreciate whoever has read up to here. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. I am praying that the world hasn't been corrupted by the conspiracy. Say hi to Airi for me. Will do. That's interesting that that's the very last line in this report. That makes me almost feel sorry for Kimijima. But if I'm being honest, it's hard to be sorry for anyone who we haven't actually seen or met in the game. I mean, that's just me, but yeah, there could be others who think differently. This was a very interesting report.
相変わらず内容は難しすぎて頭が痛くなるな。
It is rather complex, yes. But there does seem to be a more personal message at the end. Yeah. Especially with him saying to the reader to say hi to Airi for him. That is rather personal. I guess Kimijima wants to use IRUO to scatter his reports around the world. Yeah. I suppose that's his way of warning the planet. Yeah, pretty much what I was thinking. His way of beating Tavistock at their own game. The only question, though, is, would people believe it? Would people who read these reports believe what is written? It's like, it's hard to say, you know? Because everyone's different. Everyone has a different mindset. It's possible that IRUO was created just to spread this information. I didn't think about that. That could very well be. Especially seeing that all the AR annotations are only visible through IRUO. I almost said ARUO. If true, talk about some 4D chess. That's one way to put it. Kimijima Ko's plan worked out big time. Yeah. IRUO currently has over 1 billion users worldwide. Yeah, it's like Kaito's not the only one who uses it. And of course not just for the Kimijima reports and all. I mean from the very beginning of the game, we saw him using it on Akiho with that cat ear mode. But if I spread this, what guarantee is there that I'll be safe? Good question. It's like we kind of need to know what will happen to Kaito if he spreads this. It's like he will kind of be the linchpin in spreading these across the world. So if he's the linchpin, then he kind of needs a safe spot, you know, kind of like a safe house for him. What's the safest place for him? Kimijima was murdered, presumably. I mean, I still say that he is still alive. And Frau's mom was... Isn't this too dangerous? I mean, it's obviously very dangerous. This is too heavy a burden for me. But yet, Kaito decided to take this all on his own. For the most part, anyway. I mean, he's kind of told Frau and kind of indirectly Juna. So most of it's on him, yes. With Frau and Juna, not a whole lot is known on their end.
まあ、でもだったらなんでここまでムキになって集めたんだって感じなんだけどさ。
Yeah, really. It's like, that's very true, Kaito. Yes. I can recognize that it's dangerous. The reports have predicted nothing but the truth so far. Yes. A lot of things have come to light since reading these reports. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's more like a prophecy. I mean, it started out with Kaito thinking that it was a conspiracy theory, but now he has changed his whole viewpoint on this. That's why the mention of spreading it worldwide is so terrifying. Yeah, it's like, if it's spread worldwide, if people wind up believing it, wouldn't that just cause more chaos?
Airi ちゃん、君島レポートナンバー7のフラグについて一応教えてよ。
Will she be able to tell us?
ナンバー7のフラグをお伝えします。
You can. Okay. Give it to me then.
君島レポートナンバー1からナンバー6までのすべてのレポートを開放している。
We've done that, Airi.
以上です。
Yeah. She's not gonna be able to tell us.
え？フラグはなし？
No, there has to be. There has to be. It's like we need to do something about Airi. What though is the question.
みたいです。
I'm a little skeptical. It initially strikes me as too good to be true, and it is.
ちょっと待ってよ。だったらもうすでにそのフラグは回収されてるわけで可視化されてるんだよね。
What? No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like if the last report number 7, has to be like the most valuable report, seeing it's the last one. So we would have to, absolutely have to, unlock triggers to obtain the last one. It just seems kind of like a cop-out for it to just unlock after getting the 6th one.
レポートナンバー7がどこにあるかのヒントは一切ないわけ。
みたいです。
勘弁してよ。
Give me a break, give me a break. I want to cradle my head. Worst case scenario, I'll have to expand my search radius to the northern tip of the island, where I haven't gone yet. I mean, yeah, we haven't gone that far. The northern tip of the island? I mean, that's a long ways away from here, right? If Kimijima wants his reports spread across the world, why do you have to make it so difficult? I mean, I'd say it's no different than, fighting a very hard final boss. It's like, come on, Kaito, look at it that way. I'll have to use Juna's method to narrow things down. It's gotta be somewhere on a sightseeing map. Yeah. Where, though? If we're talking spots all across Tanegashima, this is gonna suck. I mean, I guess the first step to narrowing things down here is to take a map of Tanegashima and put it up on a bulletin board and put push pins of everywhere that is a possible sightseeing spot, and mark the ones off that we've already been to get all the reports. Mark those all off, and then with the remaining ones, I talk a lot with my hands. and take the remaining ones, narrow it down from there, because I have a feeling that the last report will not be in a repeated spot. So it has to be somewhere that a report hasn't been. So take all the sightseeing spots that are left and go from there. It's possible that the 2020 solar disturbance arrives before I find report number 7. Good grief. What am I gonna do? Yes, Airi? Then Airi speaks to me. You want to go home? And where is your home, Airi?
Huh?
Your birthday is tomorrow? Really? Well, happy birthday! Aww. I mean, if we knew where her home was, we would take her there. I would. Is she acting weird again because of the bugs? Or is she just being herself?
っていうか、アイリちゃんって誕生日が設定されてるの？
Come on, Kaito. Come on.
設定というか、アイリが初めて目覚めた日がクリスマスイブなんですよ。
Christmas Eve is her birthday. That's a great birthday.
へえ。
Come on, Kaito. You're smarter than this. I know you are. Maybe that's why she's so fixated on the idea of a white Christmas Eve. She wants it to snow on her birthday. Aww. You're breaking my heart, Airi.
でもですね、これまで 家の近くになかったのでちっとも帰れなかったんです。
Never had a door near her house. Okay. Trying to decipher that. I'll just go with it for now.
だから帰りましょう。
Let's.
ちなみにそのお家ってどこにあるって設定なわけ？
I mean, he's kind of going with it.
設定じゃなくてちゃんとあります。
I figured that. Where is it?
アイリとマスターが暮らしていたお家ですから。
It didn't happen to be near a pond. Master? Yeah, Master. Come on, Kaito. Kimijima.
もしかして君島公が住んでた家なの？
There you go.
そうですよ。他にもアイリのお家はあり。
You have your own what? Here. What's wrong, Airi? She's kind of went silent, and now she has like a sad look on her face. Aww. Airi abruptly freezes. Her expression locks in place, as if time itself has frozen.
Huh?
そうですよ。他にはアイリのお家はどこにもありませんから。
Why would you have any other houses? She immediately starts moving again. What just happened? Is like she in the Matrix or something? It's like, Airi, where's Neo? Seeing her like this hurts. It's too painful to watch.
じゃあ俺も付き合うよ。っていうか俺が連れてってあげないと愛梨ちゃんは家に帰れないわけでしょ？
I mean, that makes the most sense.
お兄ちゃんがいてくれてよかったです。
Yes, I'm here for you, Airi. If she's going to potentially vanish in half a day, it's like Kaito needs to humor her. I might as well stick with her until the end. Yeah, you might as well. I also have to look into how I'm gonna get my hands on report number 7. Sounds like we're stepping on leaves. Airi's guidance is a total mess. I was speeding along on my scooter when she told me I was going too fast. So now we have to go on foot. I have no idea how far I'm going or in what direction. All I can do is follow Airi as she skips along leisurely. I'm just picturing that in my head. Airi is just an AR being, so she doesn't get tired no matter how far she walks. But I have an actual body. I can only walk so much. Plus, I've been pushing my scooter this whole time, so it's twice as tiring. We start at Otatsu Metatsu Rocks. It's like, try saying that 5 times fast. Otatsu Metatsu. Airi heads toward the mountains, the direction of the new airport, then heads down Road 76 toward Nishino Omoteshi. It's a long and steep hill road, Walking up, then slowly descending gets me pretty exhausted. Midway, we come upon an unpaved mountain road. Is Kimijima Ko's house really past here? I can't trust Airi because she's bugging out. That said, she shows no hesitation in her step. It's been nearly 2 hours of walking now. If the punchline after all this is, I took the wrong road, I might actually die. I don't think we're on the wrong road.
種子島、屋久島地方の今日夜のお天気は晴れでしょう。
I love the CG. Just seeing Airi skip around like that. It just warms my heart. And of course she would be barefoot.
降水確率は 0% です。明日のお天気は晴れでしょう。降水確率は 0%。最高気温10度、最低気温8度です。
Airi innocently repeats the weather forecast out loud. I've heard it a grand total of 10 times since we started walking. I mean, it makes sense now why she always says the weather forecast. She's always she's always keeping us updated and keeping herself updated on the weather, so she knows when it's going to snow. Hell, I even have it memorized now. That's right, clear weather tonight through tomorrow, with a 0% chance of precipitation. Doesn't look like it'll be snowing. No matter how many times you check the weather, it won't suddenly turn from a clear day to a snowy one. I have a pretty vivid memory of that kind of happening when I was younger. And even if it did somehow snow tomorrow, making it a white Christmas, Airi would never be able to see it herself. This is the house.
到着しました。
We're here. Okay. Well, I think we're actually going to save that for next time. I'm going to stop it here. So, as much as I want to keep going, I kind of want to leave on a cliffhanger and find out what is going to happen here at Airi and Kimijima Ko's house. So, I hope you all enjoyed watching, and thank you all for watching as well. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, like, favorite, and claw that subscribe button to become part of the pack. And as always, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you may be.